Hey, this is Jason Mott. If you want your baseball news, listen to one Cardinal, one Cub, and one beer with JJ and Vince.
Welcome to our January. Jeez, January. I am getting old.
We both are.
Old.
Yeah.
Welcome to the August 12th edition of One Cardinal, One Cup, and One Beer. Is this episode 143?
143.
Boy, we are almost to 150.
Yeah,
Almost
getting there.
man.
Creeping there.
It's been a fun ride to 143. And I just want to see what this thing is looking like at episode 286. Because we should be twice as good by then.
I'm with you.
That's how I do math. That's how I do math. Except I am getting older, so it's going to. When I say it's January, when it's 102 degrees outside, yeah, I don't know. Just shoot me. Oh, those of you who are watching us on the YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe so you can have our show as soon as we drop it. Please like us on Facebook and interact with us, because the more interaction we get, the more our content gets out there and other nerds can find us. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can do it through a comment on one of our platforms. If you'd like to use the old-fashioned email, it's onecard1cup1beer@gmail.com. You can contact us that way. And if you'd like to support our efforts, just go to patreon.com, search for One Cardinal, One Cup, and One Beer in the search bar, and you can support our efforts for $3, $5, or $10 a month, and it's all greatly appreciated.
Yes, sir.
Because that allows JJ to buy JJ Steens, Paul Steens shirts, and it allows me to buy a pest dispenser or something. So JJ takes all the money. He's the money guy, man. That's the way it goes. How you doing, JJ?
I am doing great, Vince. It's already the three-fourths of the way through the season. It seems like we just had opening day. And that's just the thing. Everybody, we're not, all the teams aren't at the same exact amount of games, but the Cardinals going into the night have played 120 games with a 162 game season. So we're right there on that, the three-fourths of the season. Trading deadline is come and gone. This weekend, they're going to have, I think, players are going to pay tribute to people who influenced them along the way. I know they'll have special bats with loved ones' faces on it, or cleats. They can do a million things with cleats these days, but it's just been so much fun. Next week is the Little League World Series game on Sunday night, which is always fun. And man, it's been a great season. The Cardinals, 1 week we look like we're the worst team in the league. The next week we look like we're maybe the seventh team in the National League, But it's been so much fun seeing these young players and getting to watch some of these great veterans that's been in the game for a long time. And Vince, I love doing this podcast on Tuesday nights with you. I get to visit with you because I don't see you any other time. And a guy who's going to be on the podcast today, Donn. Yeah, Donn Frizzi's on here. We've met these nice, interesting baseball fans in this almost 3 years we've done this. And man, I just enjoy coming on here and talking baseball with everybody.
I remember when we first started, I'm like, well, what are we going to talk about tonight? Like the first show was just, here's the games, here's what happened. Yeah, go team. Bye. Baseball cards, bye.
Yeah, that was it. So,
and now it's like 80% baseball, 20% anything else. And
anything goes.
I mean, at the beginning of our first show was like right at the 1 hour point.
Yes.
And I was so nervous. I was just wanting to get through it. It was like, get through it. And now it's weird because I've done podcasts before. I've done YouTube shows before. But I did a YouTube game show during the pandemic with comics. That was a lot of fun. But that was, I just kind of hosted and stood back and let them do it. And then when I used to do a podcast where I interviewed St. Louis comics, and that was just me asking the questions and letting them go. But now it was like, oh gosh, it's it's time to really do a show. Um, with the other shows, I did have to do the editing and all that stuff and the posting and everything. And now with this, I have to do this and do that. But I've gotten to where I've got it down to about a 4-hour process where I can do the upload, editing and upload. But like that first week, man, it was like I think I spent like 10 hours on it. It was like I was trying to learn the software and everything. Oh,
Well, I appreciate it. And we talk too much statistics. On day games, this guy does this. We were all over the place with that. Now we just let it. I used to have 8 pages of notes, and now I just have headlines and a few little statistics on there now and stuff like that.
I still have a lot of notes, and I would say 40% of it I don't get to.
I, I'm
Just
with you.
that one sounded good in my head when I wrote it down, but who cares? I have a lot of that. Oh, oh my goodness. I'll tell you, we've had the big storm that we had to get
Yes.
the new roof and the new siding and everything. And then we had this, what they called a microburst. It was just in Peevely. And that was the one where all the limbs came because it came in from the east instead of the west. And all the trees are situated to blowing, west because that's where 99% of the storms come from. So when it blew from the east, these branches were just snapping off because they wasn't used to that kind of pressure coming this way. So we had that done. We had another storm last night, or another rain. It wasn't really a storm, it was more of a drizzle, an extended drizzle. And by golly, we found leaks.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Well, the
Oh,
roofing company was out. It wasn't storm related. It was related to some of the caulking they put down when they put the roof on, because we got the roof that's pitched, and then there's a flat part where they have that roll stuff. They don't use shingles. They have that roll shingle on there. And it was so hot the day that they put that up, some of the caulking actually melted down. And they were very minor leaks, but we had a small crew of 3 out here today. A couple hours they got it fixed. So we're really excited that maybe this is gonna come to an end soon. So we have that. Yeah, I think we're just days away from getting the house resided and the new windows put in. So almost a normal life. Very weird.
crazy weather this year. It's been crazy
Yeah.
weather.
Yep. Well, let me get into some transactions. There's no trades, by the way.
That's
That's over. But I bring this up because we've talked about him a few times over the last month. Because I went to go see him play. I didn't go specifically to see him play. I just went to a AAA game where the Royals AAA team was playing, and there he was. But then he got DFA'd from AAA, or cut. I don't even know what they call it. We get, I think it's DFA, but Kevin Biggio has signed a minor league contract with the Los Angeles Angels. So Kevin's still trying to hang on. Isaac Paredes from Houston, their third baseman, who was a Cub last year for half a year, about a quarter of the year. He was transferred to the 60-day IL with a right hammy issue, which explains why they went ahead and did the Carlos Correa trade, because he's going to be out at least till mid-September, the way I understand it. So, poor guy. Former Cardinal, former Cub this year. He had a stint with the Cub. Genesis Cabrera has been sent to AAA from the Pirates. So I don't know why we signed a guy who can't make the Pirates bullpen.
I
But
thought that. I was gonna say it, but I thought that.
see, I know I probably mentioned this in transactions, but you do so many transactions, you forget them. Former American League stolen base king from just 2 years ago, Esteri Ruiz is with the Dodgers now. I did not know that.
Wow.
And they sent him to AAA. So, boy, a couple years ago, it was like he was a budding star. I know you were pretty high on him, and now
Oh
he's
yeah.
he's you know, it's not like going to AAA for the Pirates. You're on the Dodgers, but it just kind of surprised to see that. Jake Berger, who's been up and down all year on the IL, he's back, moved from the 10-day IL. And I kind of look for Texas maybe to start taking off. I think the next 2 weeks is going to either make or break Texas.
I'm
I
with
think
you.
they either start a run or they sputter, and they're going to have some troubles. Former Cardinal Lucan Baker, who's been with the Dodgers and in their organization, he's been DFA'd. So anybody wants Lucan Baker. A lot of potential, a lot of power, but he just hasn't put together the big league level yet. The Tigers bring up former Cub Cody Hewer from AAA. And for those of you who Cody Hewer, he did close for the White Sox back when the White Sox were a playoff team. So he did at one time before the injury. He was a top-notch closer. So Detroit looks like they see something in him that maybe he can help during the stretch run. Their center fielder, Matt Burling, has been placed on the 10-day IL with a strained left oblique. Oblique, one of the funner words to say in the English language. It's not quite as fun as gondola, but it is fun to say oblique. Okay. I'm going to ask you a trivia question in a minute. Okay. Tyler O'Neill for Baltimore has been sent to the 10-day IL with right wrist inflammation. And left fielder Cole Cowser for the Orioles is on the 7-day concussion protocol. Trivia question.
All right.
How many times has Tyler O'Neill been on the injured list since he came up in 2018?
And some of them have been very extended stays. 2018, well, I don't think he's had a year where he wasn't on it at least once. So that's 7. I'm going to say 12 times. Huh?
That's my wrong buzzer.
Okay.
Annoying. It's annoying. I will never do that again.
No, that's okay.
I'll give you 2 more guesses.
8.
You're going the wrong direction.
Oh, more than 12? Oh,
yes.
15.
You're still low.
Really?
16 IL visits since 2018.
Can I tell you, we loved him. Man, worked out. You couldn't deny how hard it worked out. But it's baseball. It's not bodybuilding or, MMA or anything. And he would just, as physically fit as he was, he'd hurt himself running into a ball or diving for a ball. And he just wasn't there when you needed him. We traded him and he got on fire. I think it was the Red Sox. And people were like, oh, you can't believe you got rid of Tyler O'Neill. That's wait a minute. I don't know how long he's going to stay healthy. And it was like 2 months. And of course, I think that year he was on the IL twice that 1 year. And it was a big part of the season for the Red Sox. So I love him. I wish him well, but he just can't stay. And there's some players like that, Vince. Yeah, the Cubs have probably had guys that look so much promising. And just when they get going, they get hurt or they're just hurt all the time. So, oh man, I didn't realize that much.
Yeah, I think it's strange because usually it's pitchers who have that kind of propensity to get injured. Your position players, they'll blow out a knee or something or pull a hamstring, but it's usually nothing that's chronic. And he's a left fielder, for heaven's sakes. Besides DH, probably the least stressful position in Major League Baseball on the human body. I mean, it's not even like first base where sometimes you have to stretch. And you're just standing there. Nobody expects the left fielder to be any good. That's why Ian Happ wins Gold Gloves, because he's just an average outfielder. And he just keeps getting injured. It's like strange. And I remember in the 80s, when working out started becoming a thing, and then you started seeing a lot of injuries, and Whitey Herzog said what these ball players need to do is they need to have a hot dog and a beer and get some fat in their muscles, some marbling in their muscles, so they're not so muscle bound and pull their muscles. And I don't think that Whitey Herzog had a degree in, sports medicine or anything, but I think maybe he was on to something, because Tyler O'Neill, he looks, I mean, his body is ripped almost as good as mine and yours. So
Almost.
I don't know. It's got to be he needs a hot dog and a beer, a little bit of marbling in those muscles to maybe avoid the injured list.
Satchel Paige said he had no muscle. He said you can't pull fat. So he said I never got hurt. And that's more amazing. I think of people like Carlton Fisk, who has caught more games than anybody, collisions, fights, foul balls, just everything. And they didn't have concussion protocol back then. And he just went out there and played 130 games, 135 games a year for 24 years. And I was like, good Lord. I just, some people, they just don't get hurt very often. And then there's Tyler O'Neill. And God love him. He could be an all-star player had he not got hurt so much. He
Oh yeah,
probably made a couple all-star. He was a gold glover at one time. And man, but that's how it goes.
played in a generation where after the game, you had a spread of food that was usually high carb with some fat in it, and then there was beer to drink. That's kind of, after the Hancock incident, accident, I guess I should say, Josh Hancock accident,
Oh yeah.
they really have tamped down. I don't even know if they offer beer after the game in the clubhouse anymore, because I know that became a controversial thing. Hey, why are we giving these players alcohol before they leave the ballpark late at night?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That does make sense.
Um, and finally, the Phillies, after a few weeks of AAA, they just signed this guy, Dave Robertson, who's played for the Phillies, played for the Cubs, the Yankees, the White Sox. He's been good wherever he's been. He's been a closer and he's been a setup guy. The Phillies have called him up. We'll see what he's got left in the tank. There were Cub fans that were screaming. There were Cub reporters that were screaming. This guy is out there, is a free agent. No one's picking him up. We need to pick him up. Well, his price tag at the beginning of the year was $10 million for a 1 year contract. And the Cubs said, no, I'm not paying you $10 million for guy, I don't know, maybe about 40 now. So we'll see what happens with him. I do just have one obituary. Felix Torres, who played with the Los Angeles Angels from 62 to 64, he passed away at the age of 93. And I'd never really heard of him. Since I do this, I start to pay attention to the obituaries. And sometimes I don't even mention the player. They were so insignificant. I'm mentioning him not because of his playing days, which he was productive for 3 years. A couple of years as a part-time player, double-digit home runs, pretty good average. Very short career though. But when he retired, he stayed with the Angels and he did all kinds of work in their organization. And I think he retired there. So he was just a person who started in their lower minor league levels, worked his way up to the majors, and then after his career was cut short, he just stayed with the organization and worked in various positions, coaching, advising, desk jobs. So if you have time, Felix Torres, pretty good, interesting, because I kind of went down a rabbit hole looking, man, this guy offered a lot to that organization in its early years in the 60s and just stayed with them and was a real asset to that organization. So.
Vincent, in the game of baseball, there's those unsung guys behind the scenes, guys that have paid their dues. I think of Mike Schilt. Mike Schilt, he was a shoe shine guy with uniforms. He did everything in the clubhouse, worked his way all the way up to being the manager. And then what do the Cardinals do? They fire him. And I really think that's when the DeWitts, well, so much as the Mo, started getting a lot of feedback on how things were being run because the fans did not agree with that fire. And he just came off a 17-game winning streak and that was incredible. And then they get to the playoffs and lost to the Dodgers, but the Dodgers are very good. And a guy who paid his dues and worked hard like that and represented the team with nothing but class, and then they got rid of him. But there are so many guys behind the scenes that work with players and get them ready to come up through the minors and in the offices and stuff like that. Flores is in charge of our player development in the draft and everything, and has done a wonderful job since he's took over. So you're right, Vince. There's names out there of guys, and maybe every once in a while we can shine a little light on some of these guys that's been with the Cubs or any team, and has really helped out the organization, been a big part of it. And a lot of them are ex-players too.
But two people, I mean, they didn't stick with one club. One didn't even stick with club, that have been instrumental in the history of baseball. Started off as minor leaguers. Both of them made it to the majors with a cup of coffee, both of them with the Cubs. And they have influenced baseball so much in the past 50 years. Of course, people in St. Louis know I'm talking about Tony La Russa, who just, even through getting his law degree, he couldn't put baseball down, got his law degree, and just coached and got the managerial position of the White Sox in the late 70s and turned that organization to a playoff team, and then went to Oakland, had so much success. St. Louis had so much success. Went to Chicago and fell asleep. But that's one person. Another person that a lot of people don't know, that he started in minor league baseball, had a cup of coffee with the Cubs, and has probably been the most influential from a business perspective person in Major League Baseball in the past 50 years. And now his name slips me, the agent, Burrows.
Yeah.
Boros. Yeah, Scott Boros. He started as a minor league player and worked his way up major. He realized but he just stuck with the game, and then he moved to the agent side of things because he realized he had a gift of persuasion, and he thought, I can persuade these billionaires to part with their money, and I can just highlight every attribute my clients have and just ignore any negatives. And we're kind of in an era where that's how politics are. We just highlight attributes, and anything negative don't even act. I mean, a reporter asks you a question to say, you just tell them, oh no, that's a stupid question, shut up, what are you doing here? Something like that. But that's how Boris has operated as an agent. He's been very successful.
Very successful. He had to start. He's a player, so I think the player's kind of associated with that. And he's very smart, and he wasn't starting who he is now, but he's got the momentum. And now, if even kids, I'm surprised he doesn't have a baseball card as an agent or something like that. He is probably you're right, Vince, one of the most influential people in all of baseball right now.
I think it was about 15 years ago, maybe more like 20 years ago. Bob Ramsey was talking about, I think it was Bob Ramsey was talking about meeting Scott Boros. And maybe he was interviewing him. And he said, within a few minutes, he has your attention. It's mesmerizing. He just has a way of influencing people, kind of like a Svengoolie, not the guy who hosts the TV show, the original Svengoolie character. That's what he did. Star Wars picked up on that. These are not the drones
No, they're not the drones that we were looking for. Yeah, you're right. Vince, the games have been fantastic. I always, when I look at a team or I'm going to the park, I look at matchups, or I want to see this guy and that guy. Or I'll be honest, when the Cubs come to town, I want to see Pete Crow Armstrong. I want to see this guy. I got to see him on TV, and he's out there. And at the game, you get to see him when they're at commercial. How's he handle himself? Is he nice to the fans? Is he personable? Is he all business? That kind of thing. But this week, as baseball fans, we got treated to some really neat things. One was Clayton Kershaw versus Max Scherzer, and it was the matchup of two 3,000 strikeout pitchers, and there's only 3,000 strikeout pitchers, and these guys have been facing each other for years and years. And they the first time they met was in the year 2000 when they were rookies. So they've been playing. Wait a minute, no, if I got that right, first
I
time I got 2008.
to say
2008. My
2008.
8 looked like a 0, Vince. I don't. My handwriting's a little sloppy. 2008, but that's amazing. Through all these years, and they get to face each other, and let's see. So in that game, Kershaw got the victory, and it's just great because we don't know. We got to enjoy these guys while they're here. This could be Kershaw or Scherzer's last year. We don't know. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then we were treated to some history when Justin Verlander recorded his 3,500 strikeout. And there's only 10 pitchers with 3,500 strikeouts. And Justin's been having a rough year this year. He's 1-9 with the Giants in 20 starts with a 4.53 ERA. And for all of us that's watched him over the years, it's just hard to believe a guy. But everybody gets old, everybody loses it eventually. But 1-9 with a 4.53 ERA, but now he sets at 3,503 strikeouts and 11 strikeouts behind the great Walter Johnson. And Walter Johnson's the only person from what I would say before World War II that's even on the list. They're all more current players that everybody knows and everything, but Walter Johnson. So I don't know how much more time Verlander's going to get to pitch, but he is number 10, and probably by the end of the year, he'll catch Walter and Gaylord Perry and move into 8th spot. Now, when Walter Johnson retired, it was 1927. And he's held the strikeout record. He held it for 56 years until Nolan Ryan passed him. But when he retired, he was the all-time greatest strikeout pitcher. And number 2 was Cy Young with 2,803 strikeouts. Back then, players didn't strike out as much as they do today. It wasn't a big power game. It was a contact game, hit and run, that kind of game. So it's just baseball was different back then. But Walter Johnson, one of the all-time greats, and Justin Verlander, when it's all said and done, will be a Hall of Famer and mentioned with all the all-time greats. So that's just a couple things right there. I thought I'd throw out there as some pitching feats and things that's going on in MLB that you want to get a watch as it happens, because those guys will be gone here sooner than later.
Yeah, what I find amazing about Walter Johnson is the era he pitched in when you didn't have the free swingers, and I assume that Cy Young pitched probably 5,000 innings.
He pitched a lot, yes.
And Johnson was the first real strikeout pitcher and probably the preeminent strikeout pitcher until probably Bob Feller when he started in the 40s, and he made the strikeout a weapon that pitchers just didn't make a weapon. And there were years where guys would pitch 300 innings and have under 200 strikeouts and lead the league. I remember when I was a kid, if a pitcher averaged more than 5 strikeouts per 9 innings, they considered him kind of a strikeout pitcher. And now that guy is
middle of the road.
Eat at the Oscar Mayer factory. I mean, you're not even going to get a scout to look at. Jen Powell, she upped on Saturday in Atlanta, and then she was behind the plate Sunday in Atlanta, becoming the first female to umpire a major league game and first female umpire to call balls and strikes. So congratulations, Jen. I didn't watch either of those games. I try to watch a lot of the little condensed games, and time got away from me. I had actually forgotten that she was up in those games. Otherwise, I would have made it a priority. And then when I was doing my notes yesterday, I thought, I need to watch that. And I forgot because I'm old. I forget things. It's January, for heaven's sakes.
That's right. That's
JJ,
right.
athletics player, Carlos Cortez, in the same game, he played right field as a left-hander. And then he moved to third base and he played as a right-hander. He's ambidextrous, not amphibious, as that famous thing goes around to that headline. I think it's just kind of cool.
Yes. The Futures game had a kid that pitched right-handed and left-handed. And the rule I heard was whatever arm you start the at bat at, you got to stay. If you're pitching against a batter and you're throwing right-handed against him on the first pitch, you got to stay right-handed the whole time. But the next guy, you could switch left-handed if you prefer to. But I think there was a guy in the Major League Baseball for just a moment that could throw with both arms, and now we have a player and another pitcher in the minor leagues who could be coming up. So that's kind of cool. And I think they wear a special glove that they can alternate from hand to hand.
You're naturally right-handed.
I'm a right-hander.
Have you ever tried to throw with your left hand?
It's the saddest thing you ever seen, Vince. Yes, it's like, hey.
You don't feel like a human being.
No, I'm like 50 Cent. I'm hitting people.
I'll admit to something. Sometimes I'll watch a game, and I've said this on here many, many times. I love the chess battle between pitcher and hitter. That's why baseball is my favorite sport, because I am completely engaged with every pitch, and I don't even have to think about it. I mean, it's just on my mind. I'll be mindlessly watching some game that's meaningless with two teams I really don't follow. And I'm thinking, I think I try a down and away slider against this hitter. And I'm not even really engaged in the game. Why am I thinking this way? But anyway, saying all that to say this, when I have tried to throw left-handed and I can't even get the ball over the plate. But when I will watch a game sometimes and I'm really engaged in the game and I am watching the pitchers, I will mimic their pitching stance and I will mimic their windup and their pitch. Kathy just like, oh my gosh, my husband's so weird. But I love doing it with the right-handers because I feel so fluid. Yeah. I try it with the left-handers. It's and she secretly has a video of me. John Lester is pitching, and I'm trying to do the John Lester left-hand. And it feels awkward when I look at it. I think it looks worse than it feels, man. I cannot put it together and throw left-handed. I did have a buddy growing up, Terry, who worked on throwing left-handed, and he got pretty decent. Nothing like going to play third base and throw with his weak arm, but
yeah, that's just amazing. And there was a game that Larry Bird would just get bored, and he shot every shot left-handed. He was a right-hander, and I think he scored 40 points left-handed with hooks and layups and three-pointers and all that kind of stuff. Is that amazing? Oh man, the pros make everything look so easy that people like us sitting at home go, "Why did you make that play?" These guys are hitting the ball hard. They're running fast. It's amazing what they do out there. So I try not to take anything for granted, and they're human. For the love of God, they're human. They make mistakes sometimes too. So I'm amazed at the talent of these ball players out there.
Oh yeah. You have anything else under general news?
Yeah, Jose Altuve hit a home run over the weekend, and he became the 25th player to have 250 home runs and 250 stolen bases. But he became only the 5th player to do it with one team. Would you care to take a chance of who has got 250 home runs and 250 stolen bases with the same team, with one team? I'll give you a hint. It's in our lifetime.
Well, I think of the great combination power base stealers like that did it for a while, like Bobby Bonds, but it was one's got to be Willie Mays.
Yeah, but Willie played with the Giants and the Mets. He did do it. He's one of the 25 players.
Played just one team.
One team. There's four. I'm sorry. I thought there was 5. There's 4 players that did it with just one team.
Okay. this is a shot in the dark. He did have some years where he stole about 30 bases, but I don't think he got near 250. But George Brett?
No, George isn't on there. I'm going to name a team, and then you give me the player. And there's just three guys because Altuve is one of them. One is the New York Yankees.
Oh, Mickey.
Well, no, actually, Mickey didn't get that many stolen bases. It's Jeter. Jeter with the Yankees.
Okay.
Houston Astro.
That's true. Biggio?
Biggio. Very good. And by the way, Bagwell's got more stolen bases for a first baseman than anybody. He's the all-time leader with first baseman stolen bases, which is pretty cool. And the last guy is Milwaukee Brewers.
Yount.
Yeah, but very good. That's very, very good. So that's the four. So there's 25 guys that's done that. And Altuve, one of the all-time greats. It's been a pleasure watching that guy. I will say this. Old-timers games, beware, because there's been a lot of injuries with these old-timer games, Vince. Sean Casey was just, I think, running to first, and he grabbed his calf, and he pulled a muscle, and he was out.
Needs a hot dog beer.
Hot dog and beer. Wayno, I don't think drinks beer. Maybe he does, maybe don't. But he hurt his arm getting ready to pitch for the Savannah Bananas. So you got to be careful there. And Mariano Rivera, who I don't think of him as had gotten old, but he was at old timers game, and I think he was running out of play, and he tore his Achilles. So he's out. Well, he's retired, but so beware if you're invited to an old timers game. Take it easy, guys. You're not 25 anymore. And I was going to mention two other things. There's some big events coming up this Saturday at a Boys Dream Hobby Shop from 2 to 12 Saturday. David Fries and Alan Craig are going to be down there. So I'm going to be down there and got a few things for Alan Craig to sign and one thing for Fries. And then Sunday, August 24th, up at Rivas Barracks at Orlando Gardens, they're having Danny Cox is going to be there. Always love Danny Cox. They're having Jack Clark and Tom Niedenfuhr there. Now you can get both of them signed things, but there's a picture, Vince, and Jack's on one side and Tom Niedenfuhr's on the other side, and they'll both sign it. It's called a combo. You can get the combo. So I may get that, and if I do, I'll bring it on here and show you. But Tom Niedenfuhr, I have to say, I give that guy a lot of respect because, when we think of Tom Niedenfuhr in St. Louis, there's like 2 home runs he gave up. And one of them's to Jack Clark and the other one's to Ozzie Smith. And but what a guy who, he's got a good attitude about things. His career's over now and, come in and sign some autographs for the fans. I think that's cool. So I'm going to go up and shake his hand and maybe get a few autographs there. So Vince, that's all my general news right there.
Very cool. I hate to ask this. What the Cardinals do this week?
Well, I got some general news first on the Cardinals. Yadier Molina was in town, and he was, and I tell you what, it's fun seeing the greats come back. The fans loved them, and I want to thank the Cub fans in this way. They came to St. Louis, helped support the team. I think Friday night we had 33,000. The Saturday game we had over 40,000, and then the Sunday game there was some rain and delays. And I think some flash flooding in St. Louis down here. I wasn't even aware of it. So it was more like a 20,000 or 22,000, I think, was in attendance for Sunday. But I think a big part of that was the Cub fans coming down to St. Louis. But Yachty was there. We won Friday night, and Brody goes, Dad, maybe Yachty will be like our Grimace. Remember last year when Grimace threw out the first pitch for the Mets, and then they went on this hot streak?
Oh, yeah.
So I said, hey, maybe he's our Grimace. I said, oh, yeah, well, that came to a quick end because the Cubs just stomped the crap out of us on Saturday. So he's not our Grimace, but he was a nice thought by Brody Jackson. It's still the same. Over the weekend, August 9th, we celebrated Ted Simmons' birthday, 76. It's hard to believe Ted Simmons is 76 years old. I still remember that 1975 card where it's like him from the chest up. He's got that long hair. And now he still has the long hair, but it's white, not black anymore. So happy birthday, Mr. Simmons. And as a child growing up, it was always Ted Williams, my all-time favorite. My favorite Cardinal growing up was Ted Simmons. So that's it. There was a kid, Vince, over the weekend, and I know you've seen him because you watched all the Cardinal games. His name was Bradley Vincent, and I saw him in spring training, and this kid's so charming. He dresses up like a Major League Baseball player, and he somehow, his dad gets him real good seats, and he stands out there, stands the whole time and calls balls and strikes and takes his helmet off. If a manager comes out, he takes the card out, he puts the team's names on there. And Vince, I looked for this kid and I was going to reach out to him to see if he'd come on the podcast, but he's not on social media, and nobody wants a 61-year-old man contacting a 13-year-old kid to come on a podcast. It was a bad idea, and I'm glad I didn't reach him. But I love this kid. His dream is to be a major league umpire, and I tell you what, that's a job. The umpires don't get a lot of credit until they don't even get noticed unless they have some bad calls. So I just love that kid, and he did some interviews, and I think all 3 games in St. Louis, they kind of spotlighted him a little bit. And I mean, he was decked out. He had the actual stuff on and everything. So I wish him good luck. And his name's Bradley Vincent, and man, that kid was something else. Let's see. The Cardinals did the waiver wire, even though the trading deadline is over. The Cardinals picked up a couple of players. One was from the Marlins. It's a lefty pitcher named Anthony. And I'm terrible with last names, unless it's real basic. Venazino from the Marlins. He's a journeyman. He's been around the league a while. He's a left-hander. We must have saw something we liked. He'll be down in the minors trying to make it up to the pros. And the other pitcher we picked up, I'm so sorry. We sent Luca Baker. Luca Baker got picked up by the Dodgers, and you said he's already been released. And then the Cardinals picked up a righty, Jorge. I don't know if that's George, Jorge. Alakali. Yes. And from Boston, and I kind of think maybe Chaim Bloom. You know how like Dallas Green came over the Cubs and he knew all those Phillies minor leaguers, and he knew maybe Chaim Bloom's got his eye on a couple of these Boston minor league players and brought him up. He's a right-hander. He's 30 years old, and he's played with Boston and Minnesota. So there's something about him the Cardinals like. Going to give him a shot, but he's going to go down to minors. So that's one way you could pick up players. And Vince, I kind of think in this day and age, especially with the way the Cardinals spend money, it might be good. Bring up the young guys, sign a few pitchers, and then there's always these guys trying to play one more year. Like Quintana, he got signed this year, I believe. Is he with the Pirates?
He's with the Brewers.
With the Brewers, okay, yeah, and he's helped them out a lot. So maybe grabbing 2 or 3 of these one-year pitchers, give them a shot, because you can never have enough arms, and maybe 1 or 2 of them make the team. So maybe that's a way to do it in the future. There's always these guys that's played a while, been around, just don't have a job, and they're looking for a place at spring training, and pick a couple of these guys up because they might make your team and might make a big difference along the way. So that may be a way of the future. I don't know, but I'd like to see the Cardinals maybe grab a couple of these guys over the winter time and give them a shot in spring training. Well, the Cardinals this week, we've been playing some tough teams, and we've had a kind of since the All-Star break, we traded away our top of the line bullpen guys that we use in high leverage situations. And Wednesday we won 5-3, and in that series, let's see. Wait a minute, we record on Tuesdays. I'm so sorry. And at LA we lost 12-6, and by the third inning, the Dodgers were already up 5-3, and they just took it out on us. Max Muncy hit 2 home runs in that game, and it was over quick. But Michaelis, Ryan Fernandez, and the guy Grandeline, they just didn't have it that game. We looked terrible. They looked like the Dodgers, and we looked like the Cardinals, the 2025 Cardinals in that game. But Wednesday we won 5-3, and we took the series 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. And I'm like, oh my gosh, But the Cardinal fans, it's kind of like this: we lose a game 12-6. Oh, they stink. They're terrible. Oh, we won 2 out of 3. Well, you know what? Maybe we're not so bad. They just go back and forth. I just try to enjoy it as what it is. We go out there and we're just competing. I know 2 years ago we didn't even have close games or anything like that. But this year we're competing, and the Dodgers are, well, they're the world champions. And so taking 2 out of 3 from them, Otani got his 1,000th hit. Arenado is down in the minors. He's got a shoulder soreness, so he's down in the Florida working on a few things, which gives um, old Gordon, our third baseman, a chance to play and see what he's got because he's usually playing second base. And Vince, I'll be honest, this week he's been playing third. He's hitting better. He's not swinging at pitches outside the strike zone. He's got incredible power. But Vince, throwing to first base, I think he's got the yips or something because Contreras is completely laying out, trying to block it in the dirt. And he's just, I kind of think of Steve Sachs, who was a very good player, but one day just got the yips. And right now he's just having some problems. But like Bernie Miklasz said, he's only played 31 games in the pros at third base. They made him a second baseman and never played third. So I say get him out there every day working hard because this kid's a good athlete. But right now he's kind of a detriment at third base. And I'll be honest with you, Vince, we're probably not going to make the playoffs. There's a good chance. Miracles do happen, but right now it's about this kid learning to play third base. Man, if he makes a few errors, he makes a few errors. But maybe late in the game if it's a close one, we bring JC into play. But so anyway, that's what's going on with him. And Jordan Walker had 3 hits in that game. And Vince, he's getting better and better. I got some stats in here later what he's hit in the last 30 games, and he's hitting over 300. He's only 23 years old, and he's starting to bloom, and they're letting him play. And I think the only time they give him a day off is when he needs some rest, and maybe somebody else needs a little playing time. We'll talk about more about him with the Cubs and everything. So we had a day off, and then we play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday against the Cubs. It's always a treat to see the Chicago Cubs come to town. I do love watching them play. If you guys are really good and we're not so good, it's still a really good series. It's always a really good series. And Friday night I won't go too much because I know you want to talk about this series too, but we won 5-0. No, you're okay. All right. Well, we won 5-0. Molina's back. McCreevy, the young pitcher that we've been trying to get up. When we traded Fetty, McCreevy was able to come in. First game out, didn't pitch so well, but this one he went 6 innings with no earned runs and 3 Ks. Not known to be a strikeout pitcher, but he looks pretty good. And Walker had 3 more hits with a home run. He walked into a home run. That's his 4th of the year, first one since May. Burley went 3 for 4. And it was just good seeing Yachty. It looks like he had a good time, and the players were really reacting to him. Saturday, completely different story. The Cubs were the Cubs. They came out and just stomped us 9-1. It was a reality check. I mean, the Cubs had 13 hits, and Palante just did not have it. As the season's wearing on, I think he's getting tired. Plus, it was the Cubs. The Dodgers and Cubs, 2 of the best teams in the National League. I mean, we're playing the top tier teams. Hopefully, here in a little bit, we start playing the easier teams. So we split with them. And then Sunday, it was a nip and tuck game. So many things was going on. The game could have swayed any way. Hodges, who's not much of a power hitter, but against the Cubs, he does usually pretty good. He hit a 2-run homer. And I heard PCA mic'd up when the 2-run homer was going on. And I thought, oh, this is so PCA. He's mic'd up and he's going to jump that wall and catch that ball. But it was just about second or third row, a little bit out of his reach. But if he could have got to it, he would have caught it, that guy. And then later in the game, Matt Shaw hit a 2-run homer, who I think is a Cardinal killer. That guy, we can't get Matt Shaw out. So it goes 2-2. And then let's see. It was Sonny Gray and Imanaga pitching. And I tell you what, both pitchers were phenomenal. It's a great pitching matchup. Imanaga was the superior pitcher that day. They both had great stats. I think Imanaga was better that day, though, and we just held on. And Vince, our bullpen, we get rid of these 4 guys, basically 4 pitchers, and the guys that were in the middle of the bullpen have stepped up. And I said all year long, I think our defense and our bullpen have been the strengths of the team all year, and these guys have really done a good job in our bullpen. Let's see. Leahy has been a godsend. That guy comes in and pitches 2 to 3 innings when he comes in, and I think there's a chance they may try to make him a starter next year. But I say we got some starters. Leave that guy in the bullpen. He is just Lance Lynn was like that. He was a guy in the bullpen who just overpowered people, and then of course when he went to the starting rotation, he lost a little velocity. I mean, you can't come out and just throw everything hard as you can for an inning. You got to slow it down so you can go 5 or 6. But Leahy, I think, has a lot of great potential there. We're we won the game 3-2, and there was a couple of I think stolen bases that Podges threw some guys out. One they didn't do a replay on, and the second one he was safe, but his glove came off and the tag was on there. That was a close call. I was gritting my teeth. I didn't know, they kind of showed his glove come up a little bit. Some say he pushed the glove off with his Cardinal pushed the glove off with a thing. I don't know about that, but it was just a bang bang play. And then of course the next Cub come up and got a hit, which would have scored them. So it was just a tight game, and we just barely got out of there with a win and won the series. Of course, go ahead.
Let me give the Cub fan perspective on that.
Sure.
John Birdie sucks. He sucked all year. He's on this team for speed. He has one job, and Cliff Floyd even got onto it after the game. You got one job, that's to steal bases. That's it. Hap leads off with a walk. We put in Hap, who's a pretty decent runner, but we put in Birdie because we need to steal that bag. We can't play around and play, I hope someone hits one into the gap. Our offense has been sputtering for a while now. We have some games where we break out for 9 runs. We have other games where we're shut out by McGreevy, So you got one job to steal second base. He's safe. But because it looks so friggin' cool to dive head first, your oven mitt hits the base and pops up, and you just keep the tag on. You slide feet first, you hit that base, you can pop up in case the ball goes out in center. If the ball doesn't, you're still on the base because your butt will stop you on the base. You don't overslide the base. So guess where John Birdie is now? He's walking the streets looking for a job. I don't know if someone's picked him up yet or not because he got DFA'd. We're keeping 3 catchers with Amaya off the injured list now. Instead of DFAing McGuire, we DFA'd John Birdie because he's got one job and he did it terribly. I am so sick of major league players not having the intellectual gumption to know if I slide head first, things pop off the base. It happens all the time. 80% of the time you stay on the base. 20% of the time you're going to have some time during that slide you're disengaged with the base, and if the infielder has caught the ball and keeps the tag on you, you got a good shot that ball is going to be on you when you pop off the base. It's too damn important right now for a team who is in, I don't want to call it a tailspin. We're just a 500 team for the last 2 months. But we've watched the Milwaukee Brewers streak past this so fast it make Ray Stevens write a second song. And here's John Birdie having to look cool because that's the way he's been trained, because that's what he saw on TV. You dive head first, and he popped off. The next hit, Warner gets a hit, he would have scored. That would have tied the game in the 9th inning. That's why I said last week, is this a meltdown? Because stupid things like Swanson missing first base and getting called out on it are happening. A guy who is on your team for one reason, to steal the base, if you get thrown out legitimately, bully to you, okay? It happens. But when you're out because your hand pops off the base, fingers can jam when you dive head first. So what do? Instead of deciding, well, I'm going to slide feet first so my fingers don't get jammed, no, we'll put on a stupid oven mitt, which pops off even easier than your bare hand because there's nothing to grip the base with. So that's my rant on that.
Well, Vince, I think right now we're out of it, so we're playing like loose. We're there's not any pressure on the Cardinals, where the Cubs are right there in the pennant race with everybody, and it just seems like, and it's not just you guys. Oh shoot, the Dodgers are having some issues too. We took 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. It just seems like things are getting so tense. The Mets, even though they went and got all that talent, their bullpen, Helsley has just been blowing saves, and they seem like they're struggling. It's just we're like, hey, we're playing with house money. We're having out there having a good time. We win, we lose, we lose, and we're kind of loose. But man, it just seems like things are getting tight for a lot of teams right now, and we've got a fourth of the season to go. But anyway, the Cardinals have been playing better, and I like that they're bunting, they're running, they're attacking the extra base. I like that because you know, Victor Scott just got his 31st stolen base, but like you said, Vince, he goes head first, and it seems like he slides past it, and maybe his toe barely stays on the bag. It's just like he's tiptoes on there. So I'm with you. Lou Brock used to go feet first, pop up, and he was ready to go to third, just in case the ball came loose. Or sometimes he knocked the ball loose. He slid so hard into second base.
Yeah.
And they got these big bags to bigger targets to hit now.
But and you hear the argument. Well, if you dive head first, you can do the swim move. Okay, that works 3% of the time. And people think, well, it works all the time. It's always on web gyms or whatever they're calling this nowadays. No, it usually doesn't work. It happens sometimes. You will steal more bases by doing the feet first slide because you will stay on the base. It's that simple. But of course, I'm old school, and
well, he was safe. He had beat the throw down there.
He was safe. He would have been safe with his feet too, but he would have stayed on the base.
That's right. Oh well, we had a game last night. We beat the Rockies 3-2, and both of us, Michaelis versus this young kid. I got his name, Lander, and who had like a 7 ERA, and Michaelis is around 5. And of course, we had a pitcher's duel. And one thing, Vince, I'm old school. If we get 5 innings without giving up a hit, it seems like Chip Carey was like, hey, we got no hitter going. And I'm like, you're not supposed to talk about no hitter. We can see there's no hits, Chip. But it's always like after 3 innings, he starts saying that. Of course, I know that's superstition, but man, I said, oh, there goes the no hitter. It's like saying this guy's never given a home run to a right hander. The next guy is a right hander, boom, he hits it out of the park or something like that. But so JC got 3 hits last night, and I tell you what, this is the kid that we got in the Jordan Montgomery trade. He's a utility guy, very good defensively player. He hit good in the minors. He just struggled a little bit in the pros, and he's starting to come on. He's stealing bases now. And the big moment last night was he got a big hit, and they brought in Brendan Donovan. I know. He's up there with Birdie. They're out there playing pickleball right now at the park.
Yeah.
He came in. He's had a groin injury. If you ask that guy, can you come out off and take a bat? He's going to say yes. And I'll be darned if he didn't hit a triple and then come in and play defense at the end, and then moves to JC to third. Better defensive player at third base. And we pulled out a win, and it was a big game because the Rockies had people on base too, and they did not look, when they play us, there are not a 30-win team. They look much, much better, but we luckily pulled a victory last night. So we're playing better, and and Walker's hitting now, and Michaelis pitched a heck of a game last night. Seems like he's 2 pitchers. On the road, he was a guy that gave up 8 home runs to the Cubs, and at home, last night he just pitched an incredible game and kept us in it and gave us a chance to win. So there's the Cardinals. We're 1 game behind the Reds. I think we're 3.5 out of the wild card. But really, it's about watching these young guys come together, play great defense, taking good at bats, and looking at the young pitchers and our bullpen. These young guys in the bullpen. I'm so excited for our bullpen next year. And of course, I hope what I'd like to see is maybe we got a log jam of players. Maybe get another really good pitcher, and maybe a couple 1 year guys, and work on the bullpen. And let's go get it next year. I'm really I'm excited about it, Vince. And I think we're playing. I said at the beginning of the year, if we can win 84, 85 games, don't know if it's enough to make the playoffs, but it's an improvement over the last 2 years. And that's kind of where I can see us maybe getting to this year.
Okay. With the Cubs, we went 2-3 this week against two teams in our division that are below us. So we should have been 3-2, 4-1. So I'm not happy about that. We were playing terrible. We were playing like a team full of players who realized the management dropped the ball at the trade deadline. No urgency, we're just kind of doing our thing. And I'm worried that we're even going to hold on to the wild card spot. But I'll start off being a little positive. Since July 18th, Matt Shaw has opened up his batting stance. And I was saying from the first month of the season, he's going to have to open up his batting stance. He started off terrible at the plate. They sent him down, and he eliminated his leg kick, his high leg kick. He's got a much less leg kick. And he started off hitting pretty good when he came back up. But then he kind of quit hitting. And I've said on here a few times, he's going to have to open up his batting stance. His batting stance is closed. Looks like you can hit that way all the way until you get to AAA. But when you start finding major league fastballs, and there's only like a 2 mile an hour difference between the average AAA fastball and the average major league fastball. The difference is 2 miles an hour is huge when you're swinging a bat. He could, from that closed stance, open up to hit that little bit slower fastball in AAA, but in the majors, he just couldn't do it. You saw a lot of weak contact before he went down the first time. He came back, started making a little bit better contact, but he still wasn't pulling anything unless he was rolling over things. And on July 18th, since then, when he's opened up his batting stance, he's hitting .315 with a .994 OPS, 7 home runs, 15 RBIs. This year, he already blew my expectations of what he could do defensively out of the water.
Outstanding.
Just a tremendous, could be a future Gold Glove third baseman. Just great. Whenever there's a hot shot hit towards third, I don't worry like I did to Christopher Morel, Itzhak Paredes years. Like, oh my gosh, are they going to get that one? Paredes would get most of them. Morel would get none of them. So to watch him solidify the defense was good. So I could go with the poor hitting, but now the hitting is catching up, and you see why many people thought that this was going to be that he has future star written all over him. Cub fans have been on Jed Hoyer most of the year because to get Tucker, we traded Cam Smith, who is a third baseman by trade. He made Houston's team. They put him in left field. And he started off hot, started off having a pretty good season. And when Itzhak Paredes went down, they didn't ask Cam Smith to move to third base because they realized this guy's not a major league third baseman. That's why he's in the outfield. Cam Smith, since July 18th, when I read off the Matt Shaw stats, Cam Smith with Houston, 147 batting average, 389 OPS, 0 home runs, 9 RBIs. And he's not moved to third base to trade for Carlos Correa. It looks like we kept the right guy. It looks like Matt Shaw, when the league has adjusted to Matt Shaw makes adjustments to the league. It looks like Cam Smith is having trouble now that the league has adjusted to him, making adjustments to the league. So I think by the end of the year, Matt Shaw's stats are going to be better than Cam Smith. Fielding, he already blows him out of the water. So I'm pretty happy with that trade, except for Kyle Tucker needs to go on the IL. He cannot hit with power. He has been his OPS has dropped over 100 points since the end of June. Once more, it was a head-first slide that bent his finger back that they say that's probably what's ailing him. You don't see guys saying, "Oh, I can't hit because my toe bent back on the," no, because you're wearing freaking shoes, freaking cleats to make sure that stuff doesn't happen. But I think I've ranted enough on that tonight. So I'm very happy with Matt Shaw's progress. Cade Horton in his last 4 starts, 3-0, 22 and 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 16 strikeouts, 7 walks, no earned runs. In his last start, he pitched 5 2/3 shutout innings. I think he gave up 3 hits, no walks. He didn't even go to ball 3 on anybody, and he had 8 strikeouts. He's becoming the guy that we thought he was going to be. I think he's 6-3 or 6-4 now with an ERA in the low threes, like 3.15. So I'm very happy with the young talent. I'm very happy. Couldn't ask more for Matt Shaw or for Cade Horton. Jameson Taillon is set to return soon, which is good. And today we called up Javier Assad, who has been injured all year long. He hasn't pitched since last September. He started today. I'm on this, so I don't know how he looked. We also called up Miguel Amaya, was not in the starting lineup, but we all thought when Miguel Amaya was called up, they're going to DFA Reese McGuire, but no, it's John Birdie, because John Birdie doesn't keep his hand on the base. So anyway, so we got Assad and Amaya back. Nate Pearson has been sent down to AAA, and John Birdie's been DFA to make room for those two. So we finished the last 2 games with Cincinnati a split, so we lost that series 2-1. We go to St. Louis, we lose that series 2-1. We cannot lose series to people who are below us in the standings and expect to be any good. We have to catch fire soon. Taillon's return is going to help. Assad's return is helping, because before Assad was coming back today, it was going to be Ben Brown starting. And Ben Brown, once every 4 or 5 starts, looks like Don Drysdale, but it's the other ones when he looks like Mr. Drysdale that bother me.
Great one.
That's Cub news this week. Still not happy. Still have that lingering anger about the trade deadline. And I do want to be proved wrong. I do want us to make the playoffs and make a deep run. But I'm just saying the trade deadline has just been, it's been deflating for not just the fans, for the players too. Something's got to juice this team up now. And I just know that Jed Hoyer, with all that personality, isn't doing this. I remember when the Cubs were on their great run, we need someone at the trade deadline. We get Chapman. We get Castellanos. We get Cole Hamel. We would get studs. And did we always win the World Series? Just once we did. But, man, we knew that, hey, we're a player. And Theo had the gift of going to Ricketts and saying, I need this player, open up your purse strings. Hoyer doesn't have that. And, Hoyer's deal is, we wanted, our criteria is we wanted someone that we could trade for that would be controllable. Well, the price tag was too high, and I agree the price tag was too high, and that's why they stayed where they're at, because the price tag is too high. But these rental players that they got, that other teams got for not a whole lot of the farm, man, in 2016, we traded our #1 prospect, Gleyber Torres, for a rental in Aroldis Chapman. And he went right back to the Yankees in the offseason, but that was a rental. That's what winning teams do, because you never know from year to year when your window is going to be open. And I feel like Jed Hoyer, in his stubborn, conservative ways about doing business, just couldn't open himself up to the possibility that, why don't we give up a Kevin Alcantara and bring in a pitcher that's going to hit free agency? But, why couldn't we do that and get Errol Kelly? But I ranted about that last week, and I'm just depressed again. You know who else is depressed with me?
Oh, not
excited.
Jeremy Connor.
Jeremy Connor. Comes a time in every man's life when he needs some advice on relationships. you need to listen to the podcast DMDR, which stands for Dating, Marriage, Divorce, Remarriage, from my good friend Jeremy Connor, the Dr. Phil of the Boot Hill. You can find DMDR on Spotify or whatever platform you choose to listen to your podcast. And we have our guest. He is back after like 6 weeks ago. Donn Frizzi was here, and he was talking about his fandom for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he's also a fan of the Texas Rangers. So this time we're going to have him talk about the Rangers. And then the next time you're going to be on here, you're going to talk about the Seattle Pilots. You got it?
I actually could do a little thing on the Pilots because there's an excellent documentary on YouTube for those who are interested in the Seattle Pilots and how they became the Milwaukee Brewers. And it's an excellent watch. I highly recommend it.
Darn.
Yeah, I have seen that. It is excellent. And if you want to know anything else about the culture of the Seattle Pilots, read Ball 4 by Jim Bouton. And you'll find out the whole culture of that team. But don't let your kids read it, okay? And people our age, your grandkids. JJ, we were off and you asked Donn a question. Go ahead and ask him that so people can.
Oh, sure. I met and Donn. I just happened to walk across the bridge, Roberto Clemente Bridge, going to PNC Park, and I was just amazed at the beauty of the city and the ballpark. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see this guy with a Homestead Grays hat on, and I hate to say this, until a month before that, I didn't know Homestead was Pittsburgh or in the Pittsburgh area. Yes. I didn't know exactly where it was. So I seen the hat. I have one, and as well. And I said, "Hey, great hat." We hit it off. Donn was just a wonderful person, and we could talk. I bet we could have sat there and talked baseball for about 5 hours. So we had a nice conversation. And at the last minute,
we could have found the bar and did that.
Yeah, it would have been good times. But I was just amazed at your knowledge and your passion for the game. And you had been letting me know that you were going back to Pittsburgh.
Yes.
For the 2025 or 1925 celebration of the World Series championship that year. For those that doesn't know this, you have this. You post the daily activities of the Pirates for the whole season, and I love it. I read it. I look at the headlines. I know who Kiki Coulier is now. I look forward.
You mean Kai Kyler?
Yeah, I'm from Arkansas. That's about as close as I can get. But now I'm a fan. I'm like, what do you do today? He only went 3 for 4. What the heck? But fantastic. So how was your trip, and what all went on for the 100-year anniversary of that event?
Oh, basically it was, the trip went great. The trip was just fantastic. And they had the 100th anniversary of the team on the anniversary of Bill McKechnie's birthday. Now, Bill McKechnie was the manager of the Pirates at the time. He does manage the Cincinnati Reds. I think he's in the Hall of Fame with the Cincinnati Reds ball cap, much like Kai Kyler is in the Hall of Fame with the Chicago Cub hat. So there's a long story with that one too, is how he basically in 1927, for whatever reason, Barney Dreyfuss, who was kind of a hothead of a owner, like we don't know what that is, but he ordered the then manager Donnie Bush not to play him. Then afterwards, he traded and basically got back some ball bats or something like that. Kai Kyler goes and has a Hall of Fame career, or continues to have a Hall of Fame career with the Chicago Cubs. So,
about that, man, things can happen. Just anything. Oh, yeah. It's odd, the history and where people end up and all that. Oh yeah. Well, good for you, man. I'm glad you got to go up there. But today we're talking about the Texas Rangers.
Oh, yeah.
And we want to know, where'd your love for the Rangers come from, and at what age did you really become a big fan of that team?
Well, I would say probably. I mean, I was kind of curious about them. 1972, when
Oh,
they moved from Washington, D.C., and this is the expansion Washington Senators. The originals, of course, moved in 61 and became the Minnesota Twins. And so I was kind of interested with them at that. And then when I moved to Dallas, I was um, I was really kind of amazed that nobody really followed the Rangers. Of course, it's cowboy territory. And
oh yeah.
when I would go see a Ranger game, it would be there would be people that would people that would go and see their hometown team, like people from New York saw the Yankees, people from Chicago saw the White Sox, and I thought to myself, it's like there's got to be a Ranger fan somewhere. And there was talk of them leaving, for the longest time and everything, which made me become even more of a fan. And so, I followed them even. I could say that I followed the Rangers in Dallas even before Nolan Ryan came,
Okay.
because that when Nolan Ryan signed with the Rangers, that's who put the Rangers actually on the map. And
I've always thought, I haven't always thought because once I was a baby and I didn't think at all, but I've thought someone needs to write a book on the early years of the Texas Rangers. They had so much young talent. Toby Harrah, Mike Hargrove, Jim
mhm.
Sundberg, Jeff Burrows won a MVP while there. Billy Martin managed there.
Oh
I
yeah.
think Frankie Herzog may have managed there too, didn't he? Was
Maybe.
Herzog there?
Herzog is the second manager.
Yeah, yeah. And
Ted
then,
Williams. Ted Williams came over with them from the
Washington.
Senators, and he
Yeah,
only managed 1 year, and he didn't. He wanted out, and so they got Whitey Herzog.
they had that talent base, young talent, and they had like Fergie Jenkins, so they had a little bit of a veteran pitching presence. But then, right when free agency started, they just started buying anything, and then they had a change in ownership, and it looked like in that early mid 70s when they're just getting to take off, they shot themselves in the foot because they wanted to play in free agency to basically get headlines for the Texas Rangers, and it crippled them for so long, and they became such a joke. They didn't have fans, and then in the 90s, suddenly they took off and they became a force, and they've been competitive ever since. So I just think that would be a fascinating book. So Donna, if you're not doing anything for the next few weeks, write that book for me.
Oh, there is a book out, and I don't know
Really?
who wrote it. It takes them it up and it. I'm going to say it takes them up until 1992. The history of the Rangers, it goes up to that, and or maybe I'm sorry, probably about 94, 95, because they were playing in the ballpark in Arlington at that time.
Yeah.
So, but I can't tell you. I'm sure you can find it out on eBay and stuff like that. I highly recommend it. It's an excellent book on the subject. But yeah, there is one that exists.
When did you go to your first Rangers game, and how hot was it? And did you see 9 innings?
I was visiting a friend of mine who was already down there, and I was thinking about moving down anyway because the job opportunities looked a lot better than or they were where I was, which is Terre Haute, Indiana, home of Larry Bird. And I went to a game. We saw. I can't remember offhand who we did see, but Gary Ward hit a home run, and it allowed us to go and get a free meal at Denny's if you take your ticket in. So thanks to Gary Ward, I at least got one free meal there. But this was at Arlington Stadium, which was a refurbished minor league park. It was just wide open, nothing blocking it, and it was muggy. No, I can't say it was muggy. Then it was dry. It was a dry heat, like they always say. And but I remember there was the swarm of moths that came around the 8th inning, and I just covered the whole stadium. And I mean, it was just like you're swatting them off you, and everything, and you're trying to go out, walk out to your car. These things are all over the lights, all over your car. It was a mess. And so it was like, so I'm thinking, well, no wonder people don't come to a game here. But back then, though, it was, I want to say they played California. And back then, as I say, it was just a tween sport. They didn't have any hockey and they didn't have any basketball. It was just the Cowboys and the Rangers.
I went to the old, like you said, the Arlington, that stadium you just mentioned, and took my wife and my little baby. I posted that because I knew I was going to be talking to you, and I took a tour of the ballpark, and you couldn't go in the locker room, but my wife said, my husband loves Pudge Rodriguez. Can he just get in the locker? And he goes, hurry up. So I stood there and got a picture in front of his locker because I love Pudge. But that 90s team was so much fun. Just Palmeiro and Rodriguez and Juan Gonzalez, and big fan of Ian Kinsler. He went to Mizzou, so I always kind of felt like, hey, I got to keep track of this guy. And what a team. But the game I went to in 99 at the old stadium was Orioles and Rangers, and it was Scott, I think Kim and Nicky pitched for the Orioles, and Mike Morgan pitched for the Rangers. Kind of tell you that was a
Mike Morgan pitched for everybody.
Pitched for the Cubs. Pitched for the Cardinals.
For the Cardinals. Yes, he did. And it was part of the Cal Ripken streak, that long streak he was on. So I saw that. But I've been down since to the new stadium, and it doesn't have the charm of the old stadium. No. But my wife says, I love it being 72 degrees in there.
My wife echoed that. It was like her deal. But her deal was, she goes, well, it's really just too cold in there, And my joke is that my wife would freeze at the equator. So, but though that you went to the second ballpark.
Yes, the second ballpark
in Arlington. The original one was literally just, they just kept piecing onto it. And where was that
located? Was it near where the stadium's on today?
It was over at, if you saw where the lake was, Markholtz Lake.
Okay.
And it was let me see. It was just across the lake. I'm going to say east of the ballpark in Arlington.
Okay.
And but you know what? That little bandbox was great to watch a game in. There were no bad seats. And if anybody wanted to watch, YouTube once again comes through, and you can get Ranger, like 1988 Texas Rangers, and you could see what that ballpark looked like. And our deal was, there was a grocery store called Tom Thumb Page, and every Tuesday they would have price nights. So you would go there, you get your ticket. Now, bleacher seats were $5, which meant you were coming into the park for $2.50, and you parked your car for, I think, about $1 or $2. So it was really an inexpensive night out with the boys, basically. But no, they really needed to get a roof on. Stadium that had a roof. They just had to, because it would just be brutal. You couldn't play Sunday afternoon games. Those were just wicked.
Sunday evening games. The only team that would be playing on Sunday evening would be the Rangers. They were home.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Those first years when you were there, when they were still in the old little minor league ballpark, they were doing the best they could in. Who were some of the first players that the Rangers had that you gravitated to?
Well, I like Toby Harrah, and I like Jim Sundberg, who caught for us. um, Ward, Gary Ward, because of course he bought me my free meal after the first game, at Denny's, which was a grand slam in itself. But those are the guys I like, but they really didn't have anybody that, any big superstar on that roster. And Vince, as you said earlier, you're right about them. They tried to get sign nothing but free agents and tried to hurry up getting a contender on the club. And sometimes it would kind of work and sometimes it wouldn't. Not a lot of people really wanted to play there because of the heat. And probably one of the biggest free agent failures was when they got Oil Can Boyd. And I don't know if you remember Oil Can Boyd. He pitched for Boston. Everybody loved Oil Can Boyd, So as it turns out, the Rangers get him. And the press just goes nuts. Rangers are getting Oil Can Boyd. Oh, this is going to be great. We're going to, Oil Can Boyd is going to come and pitch for the Rangers. And we went that night, because we wanted to see greatness happen, it was Oil Can Boyd, and he played for Boston. So we went. I think he lasted 4 innings, stunk up the rest of the year, and just, I think he went in the spring training and just, kind of just sputtered out. So much for Oil Can Boyd.
When I was a kid, the Rangers had a closer. Kern was his last name.
Jim Kern, yeah.
Jim Kern, and he threw harder than just about anybody in baseball. And one year they pitched him, I want to say 120 innings out of the bullpen and just blew his arm. He was with Cleveland, I think, before that, or maybe after that. But
no, he was in Cleveland before.
Yeah, and boy, he pitched the heck out of that guy. And as a kid, I didn't understand the heat. I just knew when you pitch 100 innings out of the bullpen, that's a lot of innings.
Yeah, that was before I came there too. He was known as the Emu, and I forget how he did get there, but yeah, he was great. He was fun to watch. Real tall, had bushy curly hair sticking out of the hat, and scraggly beard, and was a decent pitcher for his day. He was a decent reliever, one of the better ones.
Now,
sorry. Go ahead, Vince.
When they built that second stadium, what year did they complete that? Was that in the 90s?
They built that. The first year was, I want to say 1994, because I had moved to Peoria, and Hetty and I came down for a friend's wedding, and I wanted to go out and take a look at the stadium. So we actually got to see it being built with Bernard's level press board on the side. So it was looking like they were using material that you would use on your backyard shed.
And when did they move into the new stadium?
I'm going to say they moved in about 2020 because they played the World Series there.
Yes.
But it was Tampa Bay and L.A. The Dodgers.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay and the Dodgers played there.
25 years is not – that's kind of a short shelf life for a modern stadium.
Oh,
and I know
it is.
That stadium is still there, and I think they're doing some kind of college football games there. Someone's claimed it or something.
Soccer is there. The USFL is there. Like the Arlington Renegades or whatever they're called. What had happened, the reason that they didn't build a dome stadium, because at that time, the technology that you see with, let's say, Minute Maid Park with a retractable dome, that wasn't there yet. And so as it turns out, they didn't really have the real estate purchased to widen out to where they could put a dome on that field. And so they had, for whatever reason, besides that, they decided not to put a dome on it. I guess if you want to blame anybody, it's George W. Bush, because he was the president of the team at the time. He and what was his name? Rusty Rose. And but they just went ahead. Beautiful park, but it was just way too hot to play there, and way too hot for people to watch a game. And then after a while, when the Rangers did get big with the Pudge Rodriguez, Jose Gonzalez, Jose Canseco years, he was there for a while.
I remember the ball off the head.
Yeah, in Cleveland Municipal Stadium, I watched that game. I'll tell you what. You mentioned Pudge Rodriguez. I actually got to see him play in his first Ranger game at home.
How about that?
He's 19, and his first overall game, major league game, was at Comiskey Park with playing the White Sox. And I was like, I got to see this guy play because I like catchers, just as advertised. Never met him, but would love to.
I haven't met him either. I put him. I'll be honest. I was a catcher. I'm fond of catchers. The bench, Berra, and Pudge. And I can't think of anybody better than them three. That's the three big ones right there.
Would you put going back to the Pirates? Would you put Manny Sanguillen in there?
Well, I don't know as much about Manny as I do the other two, but I probably wouldn't. I'd have to look at the stats. But right now, just talking, I wouldn't put him, up there. And we've had Simmons and Yachty here, and McCarver, but I wouldn't put them three in that same echelon right there,
But we had, let's see, Buddy Bell. Buddy Bell was at third. And they also, too, they had an interesting center fielder at that time, a guy by the name of Oddibe McDowell.
Oh, yeah.
Oddibe again, McDowell.
Oddibe McDowell. And he was a leadoff hitter. He was very quick, very speedy. I think he lasted for about 5 years or so. But he was one of my favorites. And, maybe because of the name, maybe also too because of the way he played as well.
Well, Donn, since you've been there since the beginning of the organization down in Texas, and you saw the first stadium, the second, and now this third, they have built up, I think, a winning organization. They always seem to put a good team, have good players. Plus, that downtown area has really grown with the clubs and things to do around the ballpark.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was, I don't know, luck, but I think it works out really good. The divisions got split into 3 divisions, and with Houston and Texas both in the same division, I think that's a great rivalry right there.
Well, that's why they moved Houston out of the National League to the American League, was for that reason and that reason only.
I hate change, but that worked out really good. And I bet that the state's like split right there. It's like a great rivalry. And now I have a question for you.
Sure.
If the Rangers, who could get to the World Series this year, I got $100 on it. And if they one day get to the World Series and your Pittsburgh Pirates, where's your allegiance there, Donn?
Not in my lifetime.
Not in
my life. But to see too. The only time I'll see the Rangers play the Pirates is like when you were there, and that's as close as I'm going to get.
Okay,
that's as close as I'm going to get.
Stranger things have happened.
Oh yeah, but kind of shake my head at the Pirate organization. But we're talking Rangers baseball, and I'll tell you I was really interested when Nolan Ryan was president. And when they did come in with a new group and they kind of jettisoned Ryan, I know business is business, but Nolan Ryan put that team up. They put that team up there. That team was was almost like St. Louis Browns like until Nolan Ryan came. Bobby Valentine was another manager who I really liked. And he was manager for that period of time where you had Pudge and you had Ryan and you had Paul Merrow. I'm trying to, we got Rangers got Paul Merrow for Mitch Williams.
Mitch Williams and Paul Kilgis.
Yeah.
And
Was there Mickey Rivers? Did Mickey Rivers play down in Texas at one time?
Gozzlehead? I think he did, yeah.
I think he did too. I got some baseball cards of him.
But I believe he did. Al Oliver, who's one of my favorite Pirates, played. Yeah. There's a lot of players that played for Pittsburgh and Texas that, which I always like to kind of look that up to see, which, who is who and everything. Let's see, you had Doc Ellis played for the Rangers. Nelson Bryles played for the Rangers. Both those two guys played for the world champion Pittsburgh Pirates in 1971.
So you saw the Pirates win the World Series in 79, and then there's this long drought. What did it mean to you when the Rangers won it a couple years ago?
Oh, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Just was absolutely crazy about it, and long about time too, but it was like, finally now we're legit. And also too, they were legit in Texas, because, keep in mind, football state.
Yeah.
And now maybe, the people in Texas would have respect for the Texas Rangers. And I think overall they do,
I have a friend since kindergarten, and she moved to Texas, I don't know, 30 years ago, and has always been a big Rangers fan.
Yeah.
And we don't converse anymore, but we're friends on Facebook. And man, I did not realize what this meant to Ranger fans. It almost seemed like I was reliving 2016, what this meant for the Cub fans. It's people crying, people like, I can't, we're not supposed to win the World Series for the Texas Rangers, stuff like that. The same rhetoric that you hear from Cub fans, you heard from Ranger fans a few years ago. So I thought that was really cool. And the Diamondbacks, they won their World Series, So they didn't need another one. Come on, man.
Yeah, but you were talking too about the Cubs. Eureka, Illinois is just up the highway from us, and that's the birthplace and hometown of Ben Zobrist, who I wish had played for the Texas Rangers and Pirates, but anyway, they've got a baseball, little league baseball area set up, and that's named for Ben Zobrist. He's definitely the honored son of Eureka, Illinois.
Also, the birthplace of Ronald Reagan.
Not the birthplace.
Well, the hometown growing up.
He went to college at Eureka.
He did? I thought he grew up there.
He was born in Dixon, Illinois.
That's right.
And he went to Eureka, which does have a piece of the Berlin Wall on campus.
Wow.
Man. What don't Donn know? Donn
no.
Wall.
Oh.
Me and JJ, we can spot nerds because we are nerds. So
that's right. You got that gene with us. My first autograph, my first piece of memorabilia, I got an autograph, 1975 Jim Sundberg card, and he signed it for me, and I was so proud of that. I have it to this day. I probably got it when I was like 5th grade.
He's still an honored member of the Rangers. A lot of people, resemble him or think of him very favorably. Now I think Vincent asked me, or no, JJ, you did. What was one game that I attended as watching the Rangers that I really remember? That would be Nolan Ryan's 5,000 strikeout.
Yeah.
That was great.
Was it building like each time he struck a guy out, it was getting closer? Was the crowd kind of rumbling a little bit more and more?
The crowd, yes, absolutely. Well, the crowd was already excited, and we ended up. I ended up. I think I went to like Ticketron and bought about 25 outfield seats for $5 a pop, and I just went to work and I just said, "Look, got these seats. I gave $5. Give me $5. You can have a ticket. Let's go have a good time and everything." So we all went out there, and I mean, he lost the game, but he struck out Ricky Henderson, and I think that was pretty much the price of admission right there. But
Wow.
it was a very exciting game, and it was just like a carnival in the Metroplex at that time. Just phenomenal.
Well, now that you've got a World Series, I hate to bring this up, but my biggest Ranger game I ever been to was Game 7, 2011. I'm sorry, Donn, but it was electric. I couldn't believe we got Game 6. Everybody was like, "Oh, we played a good year, man. These Rangers, what a team. Every position, you had great players." And I just thank God. I like Nelson Cruz, but he was in right field at the wrong time. And I got to go to Game 7. I won a Craziest Cardinal fan contest, and I was there. I'm right below Big Mac Land. And this Saturday, we got a little town that has a card shop, and the Cardinals come in. And this Saturday, Alan Craig, who caught the final ball of that game, and David Freeze, and I'm going to have him sign that thing right there. And I'm not running it in. As a fan, you go through the ups and the downs, and there's times it just doesn't make sense.
Willie Stargell said it best: you got to take the bitter with the sweet.
Oh, but
and
then when it comes through,
that was at Game 2 of the World Series, and I thought we had a good chance to win, and we did. And I'm trying to. Was that Neftali Feliz? I think it was Neftali Feliz who, and so, I mean, things happen. That's just the way baseball is. And, Giamatti said it best. It's designed to break your heart, and it is.
Amen.
But I remember a couple years later, and Hetty and I were going to a Pirate Cardinal game at Busch Stadium. And we were staying at the, I think it's the Westin across the street and the players will stay there as well. And I went, I was heading toward the, toward the restaurant. And Neftali Feliz was with us at that time. He was a Pirate pitcher. And there he was. He just had headphones on. He was looking at his phone and everything like that. And and I kind of looked at him out of the corner of my eye, and it's just like, this guy looks so young, and having had to, given up that, just basically we were not once, not twice, I think 3 times we were one strike away, the Rangers, from winning the World Series. And here's this guy, and he's just relaxed and everything. That guy's got more ice in his veins than I'll ever see. And you almost have to.
Yeah. So we need to get rolling, but I do want to ask you, this season on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your hope you're going to have a deep playoff run?
I think to be honest with you, we're as good as any. Right now, we're just trying to stay above 500, but so are a lot of teams.
Yeah.
It's really not the. There's really only like 6 teams that are, that are really, out there. And then the other ones are just kind of clamoring for a playoff spot. I think we could do it. Let's see. We're 61-59. We're 6.5 games back in the division. We're 2.5 games back for the wild card spot. We're in 5th place. I don't know. I last night's game really gave me a lot of hope. If you were aware of it, the Diamondbacks were winning. Rowdy Tellez hits a home run to tie it, and then Jake Berger goes ahead and pinch hits and gets a run in, and that wins the ball game. If we can have a little more of those go our way, I think we got as good a chance as any of the middle of the pack crowd. And once you get in there, who knows, the Dodgers or the Padres, or who else you got in there? Teams like that will probably may hit a bad streak. You never know.
Yeah. But JJ's hoping that they make it.
Yeah, I got 100 on it.
And when he says 100, he means 100
I'm
grand.
hoping they do, and that when you win, you spend that dollar wisely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But
what my definition of wisely may not be your definition.
Oh, I know. I'm a spinning fool.
Well, thank you, Donn, for joining us again.
This has been fun. Thank you.
Donn, always a pleasure.
I mean, seriously, if you want to come on and talk Seattle Pilots, I'll take a little bit and I'll brush up on my Pilots history, and I'll have fun with it. JJ will have fun with it because it's a completely forgotten history of Major League Baseball, and it's fascinating.
You know what, too? I remember reading Ball 4 in high school, and that's the Jim Bouton book, and boy, that's a book that sobers you. That's a book that turns a baseball boy into a baseball man. Like, what? Really? Whoa.
I read that my freshman year of high school, and a buddy of mine who was a baseball nut said, "You got to read this book. It really talks about what goes on in Major League Baseball." Because I think they're like sinless Jesus clones or something. And I'm reading this. I'm thinking, man, I'll behave that way? You got to be kidding me.
How dare you say that about Billy Martin?
My favorite character in the book, I don't know if you remember, I read it again about 20 years ago, and then my son Max a few years ago, I bought it for him, so he's read it more recently. My favorite character is the manager of the Seattle Pilots, a guy, I think his name was Schultz. And when I read the book, I mean, he's in the book sprinkled throughout when he's playing for the Pilots before he goes to Houston. But this Schultz guy just seemed like a fun character dude who knew I'm in a losing situation here. So
it's like you can't take it seriously. It's essentially you're an expansion team. Half of the fun was playing in Sick Stadium, if you can believe that name. And it was actually named for the owner was a guy by the name of Emil Sick, who owned Rainier Brewery. And so he named the stadium after himself, Sick Stadium. Plumbing barely worked. And it was just the whole 1969 season, I guess, was just nasty. No wonder Bud Selig grabbed him and moved to Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, he got a bargain. So all right, we'll see you next time, and keep the updates coming for the 25 World Series. Read them every day.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, you guys take it easy.
You too. Thanks a lot.
Bye now.
All right, man. Donn's the best, and we will have him back on to discuss the Seattle Pilots. So all of you who are really nerdy, and all you Brewer fans out there, tune into this. And my daughter's boyfriend, who's been on here, he's a huge Brewers fan. He got a new job. I'm so proud of him. And now he's working days. So I'm going to try to get him on Tuesday. And know this, next week we have 5 games against the Brewers in Wrigley. And a doubleheader on Monday, then we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if I have him on Tuesday night, we're already 2 games into the series. So one of us is going to be happy, one of us is going to be depressed, although they got such a huge lead now. Who cares? But I'm going to try to get him on next week, and we'll talk about the rest of the season with the Brewers, with the Cubs, and with the Cardinals, Reds, and Pirates. So that'd be pretty fun. JJ, I
Yes,
have
sir.
scored
Score! 89, 90?
88, and I can
88.
prove I've scored because I have 5 kids.
Hey, very good. Very good. Well, I have Series 2 top 2025. I kind of went current right there. And it's my last pack. So next week I'll have I'll surprise everybody with something different next week. You want to go first? Two Hall of Famers. I'm going to.
I'm going to keep my pessimistic ways. I'm going to say 1.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. Oh, the man. And talk about a big trade deadline. What was it? 88? Yeah, I think it was 88. It was the end of the 88 season. The Expos are in the hunt, and they trade this young, razor thin pitcher who can't control the ball to Seattle.
Oh, yes.
Starter Mark Langston to make a playoff run.
Very good.
The other guy, I don't know what happened to him. I think he became a photographer.
Yeah, the unit or something they call it.
Yeah, the big unit. Yeah. We just talked about this guy. Weird how this happens.
I know it.
He's a former All-Star who got the yips. Steve Sachs.
Steve Sachs. Good player.
One of the best Johnny Carson jokes I heard was saying the Los Angeles Dodgers today traded Oral Hershiser and Steve Sachs to the Yankees, and when asked, the Yankees said that they were really happy with their Oral Sachs trade.
I heard Pedro Guerrero used to be a third baseman and was terrible, and after the game they had lost because Guerrero made a big error. Tommy Lasorda in front of the whole team said, "Pedro, what's going on at third base? What were you thinking out there?" And he goes, "Well, I thought 2 things." He said, "Before he pitched the ball, I said, please. I thought, 1, please don't hit it to me." And he goes, and everybody was laughing and said, "Oh my gosh." And then he goes, "Well, what was the second thing you were thinking?" He goes, "Please don't hit it to Steve Sachs." So that's what Pedro Guerrero was hoping for during the game.
Former Phillies pitcher Mike Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Leader of the Jackson 5.
Yeah. Former Dodger first baseman Franklin Stubbs.
Oh, Franklin Stubbs. Good player.
Former Expos center fielder Herm Winningham.
I remember Herm Winningham. Not a whole lot, but
got a hologram, great moments in baseball, June 26, 1971 at RFK Stadium. Frank Robinson of the Orioles hit 2 grand slams.
whoa, very good, Frank. There it is. Woo.
Former Braves pitcher Ricky Mailer, he used to start every year with a shutout. It was weird, and then he'd have a very pedestrian year.
And Long's career.
Former Dodger shortstop Mariano Duncan, who went on to go into the cake baking business with his friend Bobby Hines. Former Cardinal outfielder, former Oriole outfielder Jim Dwyer.
I remember Jim Dwyer. Yes, sir.
Former catcher for the Rangers, Gino Petrali. I remember the name.
That's all I remember, too.
Former catcher for the Mets, Barry Lyons.
Not much on him, I remember.
Outfielder for the Baltimore Orioles, Mike Young. And is that just me, or is he farting out his helmet? Isn't that weird?
It got caught on his crack.
Yeah. Just say no to crack. Former Cub, Indian, and Yankee outfielder, current inmate for pedophilia, Mel Hall.
Get out of here, Hall.
One of the great Perez brothers, Pascual Perez.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Got stuck in the loop around Atlanta.
That's right. Hey, that's some tough traffic down in Atlanta, let me tell you.
Here was a good pitcher, pitched for the 84 Tigers, had a really good career. Dan Petrie.
I remember him.
Let me see. He had a string 10 wins, 10 wins, 15 wins, 19 wins, 18 wins, 15 wins. Just very solid.
Wow.
87 highlights. Pitcher for the Brewers, Juan Nieves.
I thought you were going to say Bill Gullickson. For some reason, I was thinking you were describing Bill Gullickson.
No. In 1987, he tossed the season's only no-hitter.
I'll be darned. How about that?
Pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds, Dennis Rasmussen. No Hall of Famers, but I did love this guy. Pitch for the Phillies, pitch for the Braves, pitch for the Royals, the sidearmer Gene Garber.
Oh, yes. He almost turned around when he pitched.
Yeah. And
yes.
he was the true definition of a sidearm. It wasn't submarine. It wasn't three-port. It was completely sidearm.
I would see him on WTBS all the time watching those Bob Horner and Dale Murphy games, back in those days.
Be about the 7th or 8th inning. Bring in Garber.
Here comes Garber.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, my first one is one of these. Every team's got like a star they put on there. And the Seattle signed him to a long contract. Julio Rodriguez, and he's starting to have like a comeback season this year. Has done a pretty good job. One of the stars of the team. Good. Vince, this is what we need to do, Cardinals and Cubs. Sign our young talent. Maybe next year it might be Donovan we sign. And not Brendan Donovan, not Donovan Osborne. Okay, let me clarify that. If they sign Donovan Osborne, I'm going to be picked. All right. This next guy is Jace Young from Detroit. And you can see it's kind of a glittery card. That's what they're doing these days, Vince. They put these special cards. That's this rookie card. There's regular rookie cards and then ones with the the trimmings on the side and all that. So they do all kinds of stuff to try to raise the value and stuff. Oh, this guy here, I don't know if he's going to be a Hall of Fame, and he's in the Hall of Very Good. Chris Sale, and there he is with Atlanta. He's had a nice long career. White Sox, Red Sox, Atlanta. Let's see here. Oh, wait a minute. You guys have this guy now. Milwaukee Brewer at the time, Colin Ray. Isn't he a Cubby now?
I couldn't believe he got the victory over you guys on Saturday. You beat Imanaga and you beat Boyd, and then Colin Ray comes out.
Ain't that something? Life don't make sense sometimes. At Milwaukee, they have banners of the players all over the parking lot and on the sides of the stadium. And I remember me and Brody, where we got there way early, we were sitting at a picnic table, and it was underneath the Colin Ray thing. So we looked him up and learned everything we could about him sitting there. That's kind of exciting life, kind of Playboy life I lead, this right there. Yeah. Toronto Blue Jay, Kevin Gossman, and he's been very good. He was with the Giants, too. Had a very good starter. He's the kind of guy that Cardinals need to pick up. Let's see. Cleveland Guardian. I always had to say Guardian. Tanner Bybee, a pitcher. Cleveland always seems to come up with some good arms. I like that picture of the ball in flight. That's pretty cool photography. A guy who's all or nothing. He dyed his hair red, and it seems like he's playing much better of late. O'Neal Cruz right there.
Yeah.
Cruise missile. Great arm. That guy's got an incredible arm in the outfield. Let's see here. Kentel Marte of Arizona.
There you go.
This weekend, his bat, he just got to see his new bat for the weekend. It's a blue bat with a heart with a picture of him and his mother who had passed away in an automobile accident. And if he has a home run with that bat, I'm going to cry, Vince. That's just, I love him. And I've always pulled for that kid. And my last one is, well, you mentioned him. Vince, it seems like every time we mention somebody, they show up in our cards. Isaac, and you'll have to help me with the last name, the third baseman you had last year.
Paredes.
Thank you. I can't speak English or Spanish. I'm stupid in two languages, but right there he is in that Cub uniform. And Vince, that's it for my baseball cards right there.
All righty. Well, JJ, I think this was our best episode ever.
Well, I think it was very, you know what? I'm with you. Best episode ever, Vince.
This is great. This is great. I want to thank Donn for visiting us again. Great guy. Love the baseball nerds coming on. Next week, I could be in tears next week. We could be in this 5-game series down 0 games to 2. I'll be shedding tears. The tears will be real. I mean, I don't fake tears. You can ask my wife. I cry all the time. It's so embarrassing. She married the most feminine man in the world. Cry, act like I'm pitching baseballs at the TV. Oh gosh!
I think it's good to be emotional. It's good to wear your feelings on your sleeves, Vince. Because I cry all the time too. I can't watch Field of Dreams without.
We have two different personalities. I tell Kathy everything I can think of. I just do. I talk all the time. When we were dating at one time, she said, "Stop talking about that. I've heard enough." And she's not a talker, so sometimes I'll be wanting to have it like we'll be talking about something heavy, and I'll be wanting her opinion, and she just sits there and looks at me. And at first, I thought, "You're looking at me like I'm stupid." No, I don't formulate sentences quickly. I have to really think about what I'm going to say. Oh, okay. So now we're used to each other, I guess.
And happy anniversary. How many years now?
17.
17. Very good, Vince.
17 years. We got married on the 9th of June or 9th of August in 2008. We had Tabitha was 14 going into her freshman. No. Tabitha was had just graduated from high school. She was 18. Rebecca and Evelyn were 8. Rebecca's the one that Kathy brought into this mess, and I brought in Evelyn. So they're the same age. Max was 6 and Violet was 4. And it was quite an adjustment throwing these weird mix of kids together, and kind of a science experiment. Let's see what they do. We used to have another kid, but 3 of the other kids ganged up on that one and ate them. That's just part of the science experiments.
Man. Woo.
So anyway, JJ, I will see you next week, okay?
See you next week.
Thank you.